Magamari magari gani dari gamagari ni da dari dari gamaga. Sa ni da mani da magama kamada karana.
He patronized science, technology, education, and new innovations. The ideal example is the publication of a Malayalam English dictionary by Reverend Bailey. The Maharaja initiated the publication of a book on Malayalam grammar written by Mr. Peter. He appointed an allopathic doctor in the court and encouraged modern medicine. He built the first hospital for inpatients in Thaikad, which now functions as the Hospital for Women and Children. The Maharaja established an engineering wing in consultation with resident Colonel Faisal. The irrigation system was modernized. Though a multifaceted genius, Swadhi Tirunal's personal life was never peaceful. Interference of the resident in the day-to-day administration made life miserable for him. He had to accept the control of the British. This damaged his health. He withdrew from all activities and suffered in silence, and towards the end led almost a secluded life. A stage came when he could not assert his power in his own country. Swadhi Tirunal was a genius who created an indelible impression in the world of music and literature. With his total surrender to the Lord Padmanabha, he led an ascetic life and in due course passed away on the 26th of December 1846, leaving behind a rich legacy of culture and literature. With his departure, Indian music and literature were orphaned. The mortal remains of Maharaja Swadhi Tirunal were cremated after a funeral procession, the like of which Travancore had never witnessed before. People from all walks of life paid their last respects to their beloved Maharaja. A crowd of unprecedented strength participated in the funeral procession. The heir apparent, Uttram Tirunal, clad in informal attire and barefoot, led the cortege. All the male members of the family followed. The feeling was that the state had lost an illustrious leader and that the subjects were orphaned. After the demise of Swadhi Tirunal Maharaja, the Travancore throne was adorned by Sri Padmanabhadasa Vanchipala Martanda Varma, Kulashekara Kiridapati Uttram Tirunal. He was just 18 months younger to the renowned ruler Swadhi Tirunal. The only difference between him and Maharaja Swadhi Tirunal was that the former had little flair for music and literature. But in administrative matters, he excelled his elder brother and was an equally eminent ruler. Uttram literally means Bhagyodayam, or the dawn of good fortune, and hence he was also known as Bhagyodaya Martanda Varma. He ascended the throne on the 16th of Kumbham. It was a period when the state was facing a severe financial crisis. With the help of Diwan Sir T. Madhava Rao, he exercised stringent financial control and successfully overcame the crisis within 2 years. For administrative convenience, he divided the state into Padmanabhapuram, Thiruvananthapuram, Kollam and Cherthala. He built the Victoria Marthandam Canal linking Kolachal and Thiruvananthapuram. Uttram Tirunal established Kerala Vilasam Press in 1853. This was the first press which was not owned either by the government or by the missionaries. The Maharaja sent an ivory throne to an international exhibition organized by Prince Albert at Crystal Palace in London in 1851. The throne attracted great admiration, and Queen Victoria was awestruck by it. She sent a letter to the Maharaja, which received statewide attention when it was carried on an elephant from the Huzur office to the Darbar Hall, and Diwan Krishna Rao read it out aloud. Acquaintance with Westerners from early childhood had molded his attitude and approach and widened his vision. He preferred the European lifestyle of formal wear to the traditional attire. He usually wore lounge suits. He was well versed in various languages and had a passion for Western medicine. He specialized in anatomy and chemistry. The Maharaja practiced his knowledge of medicine on his family members. Medicines were imported from Chennai and Bombay. He spent his free time in the dispensary where patients waited to consult the monarch physician. He even conducted minor surgeries. The Nambudiri Brahmins who participated in the Murajabam gave wide publicity, and the Maharaja's fame spread far and wide. Uttram Tirunal attained great knowledge in different fields. Following his brother's path, he patronized science and education. He was an ardent lover of Kathakali and revived the palace Kathakali troupe. He gave great publicity to Irayaman Thambi's Atakadas, a patronage that saw the flowering of the art form. A performance arena or Atta Pandal was created in the premises of Ranga Vilasam for staging Kathakali. The style followed was the amalgamation of Kaplingar and Kalladikodan and Vetattu schools of Kathakali. Maharaja authored Simhadwaja Charitam. It was Uttram Tirunal who suggested that Irayaman Thambi should pen Dakshayagam Artakada and Kochupilla Warrior should compose Urvashi Swayamvaram. Irayaman Thambi composed Dakshayagam as directed by the Maharaja. Uttram Tirunal was an eminent administrator and a progressive-minded king. There existed no ban against conversions, and this favored the missionaries. It was during this period that the Chennai Rebellion took place. Lower caste women were not allowed to drape their torsos. When the Nadar women of South Travancore were converted to Christianity in 1853, they wished to dress like the Hindus, which the upper-class Hindus would not agree to. As a consequence, many problems arose, resulting in clashes, which came to be known as the Chennai Rebellion. The Maharaja was deeply interested in sport and adventure. A patron of sport, he encouraged sportsmen. One Dr. Keith, who flew hot air balloons, visited Travancore. The Maharaja and his subjects were awestruck by this sport. He patronized artists in every sphere of activity. Devan Peshkar Shanguni Menon, while praising the broad-minded nature of the Maharaja, remarked that it is difficult to find another king who is equal to Uttram Tirunal. The Maharaja recognized talent and personal efficiency in all fields. With the demise of Shri Padmanabhadasa, Vanchipala, Martanda, Varma, Kulashekara, Kiridapati, Bhagyodaya, Ramaraja, Manne Sultan, Maharaja Bahadur, Shemsherjung, Maharaja Uttram Tirunal, Ayilyam Tirunal took over the reins of the state in 1860. Ayilyam Tirunal was born to Rukmani Bai, sister of Swati Tirunal, and Revati Tirunal Ramavarma of Paliyakara Kottaram of Tiruvalla. Swati Tirunal and Uttram Tirunal, his uncles, took earnest interest in his education. Madhava Rao, who was the tutor of Ayilyam Tirunal, later became the Dewan of Travancore and is remembered as an efficient administrator. During the reign of Ayilyam Tirunal, the monopoly of some people over pepper and tobacco was put to an end. This was a decision which had far-reaching consequences. In 1866, two proclamations made by the king, namely Pandara Patam and Janmi Kudian, were hailed as the Magna Carta of Travancore. Ayillam Thirunal issued Pandarapattam Proclamation in 1040 Malayalam era, or 1865, declaring all Sarkar Pattam lands to be the private property of the holders. Those who held such lands could not be evicted, and they had the right to inherit, sell, or dispose them in any way. By the Janmi Kudiyan Proclamation, the lands owned by private landlords were cultivated by tenant farmers called Kudiyans, who had no right in the land and could be evicted from their holdings at any time without any compensation. To provide the Kudiyans a security of tenure, the Maharaja issued the Janmi Kudiyan Proclamation. A registration department was established to enforce the proclamations. In 1866, Ayillam Thirunal was honoured with the status of GCSI by the British administration. The Alapura Lighthouse, Varkala Tunnel, Punalur Suspension Bridge, designed by one Mr. Collins, were constructed during these years. In 1860, the foundation stone for the State Secretariat building was laid. Tamil, Malayalam and English schools were established. He formed training centres for teachers and appointed a textbook committee. He constructed the mental hospital, the law college and the central jail. It was Diwan Nanu Pillai who introduced Pokuvaravu. In 1868, the Madras governor Lord Napier visited Thiruvananthapuram. To commemorate this, the museum was named after him. A census was conducted scientifically for the first time, and according to it, the population of Travancore then was 25 lakhs. A grand darbar was held in Delhi to celebrate the assumption by Queen Victoria of the title of Empress of India, in which the Maharaja could not participate. He convened a darbar in Trivandrum in 1877, when he was presented the imperial banner from the Queen as a symbol of the friendship between the empire and Travancore. Ayillam Thirunal, a great patron of Malayalam literature, translated Arabic stories into Malayalam. One among them is Meena Keta Charitam, besides a prose translation of Shakuntalam. While Anilam Thirunal was the maker of modern Travancore, Ayillam Thirunal was the one who developed Travancore as a model state. Kerala Varma Veliyakoil Tampuran published all the works of Ayillam Thirunal posthumously. Vishagam Thirunal, his successor, was equally brilliant and authored several works. He encouraged translations of science works by eminent authors. Vishagam Thirunal was on the throne of Travancore only from 1880 to 1885. He encouraged scholars to translate articles in science into Malayalam. In an age when literature was confined to poetry and hymns, he encouraged prose writing and directed the government to purchase 500 copies of published prose works and kept apart some funds for prose books. The main science works produced by the Maharaja included Satira Raksha Satyam, Parobagaram, Dina Samrakshanam, etc. These books had a great impact, and he earned many titles for his work from the scientific community both in India and abroad. He was awarded fellowships by Madras University, the Geographical Society and the Royal Asiatic Society. Viceroy Lord Ripon held him in high esteem and honoured him with the GCIE. He introduced stamp duty. He utilised the commendable services of Diwan Rama Iyengar. Reformation of the police force was a notable administrative gain during his reign. He organised the police force under the supervision of a police superintendent. He introduced tapioca cultivation in Travancore from Brazil, and tapioca became the staple food of the state. The jail administration was reformed by introducing intramural labour. Convicts were made to work for remuneration. In 1881, post offices were established, retaining the local Anchal department. He constructed Pandayan Canal and Puttan Dam with the objective of enhancing irrigation in Nanjinad. Dharmosmal Kuladaivatam. Charity is our household divinity. The motto of the Travancore royal family was reflected in his life and times too. Srimoolam Thirunal became the Maharaja with the demise of Vishakam Thirunal. He ruled Travancore for 39 years and was popularly known as Rajarshi. Srimoolam Thirunal was born in 1033 Malayalam era. On his 11th day of his birth, his mother, Pooradam Thirunal Lakshmibai, passed away, leaving no female heir in the royal family. On 2nd Chingam 1061, he ascended the throne. His 39 long years of administration made Travancore a model state. The state prospered in all fields and Travancore was one of the most advanced states in India. Srimoolam Thirunal established the Legislative Council in 1888, the first of its kind in India. The far-sightedness put the state on the path of growth. This is clear from the following words of the Maharaja on one occasion. The world moves forward and we must move on with it or it will leave us behind. In this latter part of the 19th century, neither princes nor people can afford to ignore this progressive tendency.
മാനവരാശിയുടെ ആദ്യത്തെ ഒരു ചുവടായിരുന്നു രാമവർമ്മ ശ്രീമൂലം മഹാരാജ തിരുമനസുകൊണ്ട് ശ്രീമൂലം പ്രജാസഭ നിർമ്മിച്ചതും ആളുകൾക്ക് പങ്കുകൊള്ളാൻ സാധിച്ചതും. അതിൻ്റെ ആവശ്യത്തിലേക്ക് ശ്രീമൂലം 8 അംഗങ്ങളുള്ള പ്രജാസഭ നിർമ്മിച്ചു. ഇതൊരു വഴികാട്ടിയായിരുന്നു. ഭാരതത്തിൽ ജനാധിപത്യം ആരംഭിക്കുന്നതിന് മുമ്പേ തിരുവിതാംകൂറാണ് ആദ്യമായിട്ട് ഈ കാര്യത്തിൽ ഉണർന്നത്. അതിൻ്റെ ഫലമായിട്ടാണ് വളരെ നേരത്തെ തന്നെ ഭാരതത്തിൽ ജനബന്ധം വന്നതും പ്രമുഖന്മാരായ അയ്യാസ്വാമികൾ, ചട്ടമ്പി സ്വാമികൾ, നാരായണഗുരു, അയ്യങ്കാളി മുതലായവർ സഹായവും ബന്ധവും തുടങ്ങി വന്നത്.
Srimoolam Thirunal deserved the title Rajarshi by all means, and his reign is considered the golden age in the history of Travancore. Raja Ravi Varma, the master painter of Travancore, lived in the period of Srimoolam Thirunal. At the age of 14, Ravi Varma came to Thiruvananthapuram with his uncle and showed his paintings to Ayilyam Thirunal. Deeply impressed by his works, Ayilyam Thirunal made arrangements at Thiruvananthapuram for him to continue his artistic pursuits. His work, Mullappu Chudiya Nayar Vanitha, fetched him a gold medal at an exhibition held in Chennai in 1873. The same work bagged more awards and accolades at an exhibition held at Vienna.
പ്രധാനമായും അന്ന് കൊളോണിയൽ ഭരണകാലത്ത് ഒരുപാട് സ്വാധീനങ്ങൾ നമുക്ക് ഇന്ത്യക്കുണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇതേ സമയത്താണ് ബംഗാളിൽ ടാഗോറിൻ്റെ പ്രസ്ഥാനമായിട്ട് ഇന്ത്യൻ റിവൈവലിസം ഉണ്ടായത്. അതായത് നമ്മളെ പഴയ ഇന്ത്യൻ ചിത്രകല അതേപോലെ അനുകരിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് പറഞ്ഞത്. അതേ രവിവർമ്മ അതല്ല ചെയ്തത്. നമ്മൾക്ക് ലോകത്തിൻ്റെ ഏത് ഭാഗത്ത് നല്ലത് തോന്നുന്നത് നമ്മൾ സ്വീകരിച്ച് സ്വന്തം കലയെ സംസ്കാരത്തെ വികസിപ്പിക്കണം എന്നുള്ളൊരു തത്വജ്ഞാനമായിരുന്നു അദ്ദേഹത്തിനുണ്ടായിരുന്നത്.
In the World Religious Conference held in Chicago in 1892, two great sons of India grabbed world attention. One was Swami Vivekananda and the other was Raja Ravi Varma. C.V. Raman Pilla and O. Chandu Menon were two progressive writers who came to the limelight during the reign of Srimoolam Thirunal. That was a period when Kerala Kalidasan, Kodungallur Kunyukuttan Tamburan and Venmani poets enriched Malayalam poetic literature. Travancore hosted many dignitaries during the reign of Srimoolam Thirunal. Most honourable among them were Lord Curzon, Viceroy of India, accompanied by Lady Curzon, Sir William Cunningham, the Foreign Secretary, W.R. Lawrence, Private Secretary, and Major E. Banning. Travancore was fortunate to receive the Viceroy, the most powerful dignitary in British India, as a representative of the British Empire. The visit of the Viceroy was a proud moment for Travancore, a small province in India. Welcoming Lord Curzon, the Maharaja said, "Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my most pleasing duty to propose the health of my noble and illustrious guests, Their Excellencies Lord and Lady Curzon. Travancore has never before had the proud distinction of welcoming the highest representative of our august sovereign." In reply to the speech of Srimoolam Thirunal, Lord Curzon spoke as follows. "Your Highness, ladies and gentlemen, since I have been in India, I have had a great desire to visit the state of Travancore. I have for many years heard so much of its exuberant natural beauties, its old-world simplicity, and its Arcadian charm. Who would not be fascinated by such a spectacle? Here, nature has spent upon the land her richest fortunes. The sun fails not by day, the rain falls in due season, drought is practically unknown, and an eternal summer gilds the scene. When the land is capable of culture, there is no denser population, whether it is by ocean, by jungle, backwater, or lagoon." Srimoolam Thirunal hosted a royal state banquet to suit the occasion. The most important among the administrative reforms of Srimoolam Thirunal was the Legislative Council introduced by him. In 1904, Srimoolam Popular Assembly was inaugurated. This paved the way for the system of democracy in India. Its objective was to ascertain at first hand the needs of the people. The members were at first nominated. The king was the supreme authority of the 8-member council. Primarily, this was the place where the problems and hardships faced by the people were raised. The first meeting of the Travancore Legislative Council was held on the 23rd of August 1888 at the Divan's office. The number of members of the council was increased from 8 to 15. In 1904, Srimoolam Praja Sabha was founded. Since the Divan's room was not sufficient for the meeting of both the Sabhas, the VJT hall was used for convening the meeting. The first joint meeting of both the Sabhas was held on the 24th of October, 1904. In 1886, the Land Planning and Agricultural Society was established, and the hilly areas were given for cultivation of tea, and thus tea cultivation was started in the Kannan Devan Hills. The Periyar Pattakarar was signed with the government of Tamil Nadu in 1887. The Periyar water was driven for irrigation to Madurai. This major project was under the leadership of Pennequick. In 1889, the Sanskrit and the Manuscripts Library were established. In connection with the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the crowning of Queen Victoria, the VJT Hall at Thiruvananthapuram and Victoria Hospital at Kollam were constructed. An important representation was submitted under the leadership of K.P. Shankara Menon, demanding restriction of appointments to Travancore of Travancoreans alone. This representation was known as Malayalam Memorial. The newspapers published the demand of the revolutionaries. Sri Rama Rao was the Divan. The Madras governor Connemara visited Thiruvananthapuram to know about the exact nature of the demands. He returned fully satisfied with the administrative arrangements in the state. In 1895, Dr. Mitchell, an eminent educationist, was appointed the Education Secretary. A school to train teachers was established. The Law College, College and School for Girls, Reformatory schools, farm schools, and the public library were established. The Puttan Dam proved insufficient to irrigate Nanjinad. so a concrete dam, Pechipara, was constructed at a cost of 86 lakhs. The departments of Forest, Excise and LIC were formed in 1897. The construction of the Shemitah'coulomb railway line was started when Krishna Rao took over as Diwan in 1898. This was constructed by the South Indian Railway Company, spending 1,18 lakh rupees. Debentures were introduced to raise resources. The work of Kollam-Thiruvananthapuram rail path was started in 1910 and completed in 1918. The Department of Agriculture came into being in 1908 with Dr. N. Kunjampilla as the first director. Swadeshabhimani Ramakrishna Pillai also lived during this period. In 1914, when Diwan Bahadur M. Krishnan Nair took charge, the First World War had started. Since scarcity of food became a problem, a civil supply system was initiated. Soldiers of Travancore also took part in the World War. The Department of Industries was started under the leadership of Dr. Barker. Sri Moolam Ramavarma Technical Institute at Nagarkoil and Sri Moolam Technical Institute at Thiruvananthapuram were opened. In 1920, Diwan Bahadur T. Raghavaya bifurcated the Devaswam and Revenue departments because non-Hindus were not appointed in the Revenue department. To solve this, Revenue was made a separate department and non-Hindus were given appointment there. The system of income tax was introduced in 1921. In 1923, the whole of South India was brought under the control of the Viceroy and the resident became the agent of the Madras governor. Sri Moolam Thirunal was considered neither a conservative nor a progressive, but as an able administrator, he brought in timely reforms. Although he deserved the great title of Rajrishi in all aspects, his personal life was not a happy one. On the 11th day of his birth, his mother died. His father too died soon in 1877. In 1877, Attam Thirunal breathed his last, followed by Junior Prince Martanda Varma and the Senior Princess. At 28, Uncle Vishagam Thirunal died. His consort too died at an early age. These frequent tragedies made the king gloomy. However, these bereavements in the family did not affect his administration adversely. In 1895, the remaining members of the royal family were the Senior Princess of Attingal and the Maharaja. Adoption was the only way out of the situation. Thus, the Maharaja and the Princess, to perpetuate the lineage, decided to adopt two princesses, Sethu Lakshmi and Sethu Parvati, both of the Mavelikara family. Mahakavi Ullur wrote about the royal proclamation as follows. At 4:15 p.m. that day, a darbar was held in the old audience hall within the fort, Trivandrum, when the adoption was duly announced by a royal proclamation which ran as follows. Whereas it is found necessary to secure the continuance of the representation of our house by adoption, we are pleased to declare that according to the custom and usage and with the concurrence of the British government, Sethu Lakshmi, born on the 5th Vrichchigam 1071 under the star Pooradam, and Sethu Parvati, born on the 24th Tulam 1072 under the star Moolam, both of the Mavelikara family, have this day been adopted as princesses of Attingal.